Asket says, through the various trips into the past, you have now obtained the required cognitions to confidently cope with all the truth you have to face up to in the trip into the past which now follows. The intention is to lead you back to the year 32, where you are to witness, there and then, those events the records of which have been handed down to you in false forms in the New Testament. This is required because you can only fulfill your mission when you know the actual truth in very great detail. But this is truly quite different from the way it is presented in your scriptures. It is, in no way, a. Jitschi says, the year 32 would indeed have to be the year of the crucifixion of Christ. Or? Asket says, I speak of that. That is correct. I have to determine that your manner of expression has indeed changed a lot in the last few days. It is no longer so strongly orientated towards religion as it was at the beginning of our acquaintanceship. Jitschi says, holy smoke. Is that so surprising? I indeed almost went mad and have seen so many things that I can no longer process them. I was a slave to damned religion and this idiotic Christianity my whole life long. Now you suddenly turn up with your mad friend and drag me out into outer space and far back into various past epochs. Everywhere I have to see and recognize that the damned religions are only mean and filthy machinations of mad or power-greedy humans and that everything is only a quite damned idiocy for the purpose of the exploitation of us dumb commoners. And now you even want to drag me back to the time of the crucifixion in order to actually prove to me the goddamned idiocy of these power-mad swine. Then I am still supposed to keep quiet there, eh? Asket's eyes widen and she looks at Jitschi with alarm. Edward says, Jitschi, I advise you to talk to Asket somewhat more politely, otherwise I will punch you in the nose. You were indeed the one who practically forced himself on us in order to travel through the times with us and to become acquainted with the actual truth. If, as a consequence, you want to spin out, then you have yourself to blame because, during your life until now, you allowed yourself to be misled by the false religious teachings. If you have now finally recognized the truth and if you are furious because of that, then you must be furious with yourself, because the blame lies totally with you alone. Had you once quite reasonably contemplated everything, then various things would have had to occur to you which would have allowed religions to appear in the correct light for you. Therefore you also do not need to simply condemn religions and stamp them into the ground, because a religion is not, in and of itself, wrong, if it is evaluated and utilized with knowledge. The mistake with all of them is only that each one was transformed into a cult by irresponsible humans and is ruled by delusional dogmas which lead humans into error. But in itself each religion possesses many good and correct things which point many people to the correct path and are able to help them in many sorts of matters. Religion, in and of itself, is therefore not bad. Rather only that which is made of it in association with the unreal dogmas and many erroneous teachings of irresponsible, delusional believers and prophet sharks, and so forth. Jitschi says, I will wring this bloke's neck if I come into his time. Edward says, you will quite nicely leave that be, because, in my opinion, the bloke, as you call him, is a very worthy and extraordinary human. I already know who you mean, and I will beat the living daylights out of you if you even say only one bad word to him. In no way can he himself do anything about being branded as a son of God and still even greater nonsense. Because, according to everything that I know today, he was used, without his own will, for the founding and maintenance of a new religion. Jmmanuel must be a wonderful human and extraordinarily wise and clever as well. Asket says, he speaks the truth, Jitschi. Jitschi says, please excuse me, I simply could not do anything else. Everything has simply been too much for me. Perhaps I also do not understand the connections correctly. I am really very sorry. Please excuse me. Asket says, "It is all right. But now look at these articles of clothing from my homeland. You should put these on now and cover them with these cloaks. I recently brought these 6 cloaks with me out of the year 32 in the foreknowledge that I would need them, because we will mix with the masses during this trip into the past, as we already have twice before. We must once again wear native clothing. But unfortunately I only have these cloaks, for which reason you should wear the clothing from my homeland underneath." Jitschi says, "Man, if we take off the cloaks we will indeed look like angels." Asket says, "That would be so, yet no grounds exist to take off the cloaks. Therefore we will also not be conspicuous. So, go now and get dressed. Also take these head coverings with you." Explanation from September 14, 1964. Jitschi and I changed clothes and then looked like some sort of inconspicuous figures from an ancient time. Only if we had removed the cloaks and taken off the peculiar head coverings would we have been conspicuous. In the floor-length, silvery white, shimmering and richly plaited, billowing dresses, we looked like angels, almost exactly as they were portrayed in the religious picture books which I had leafed through at various times. What we still lacked was the long hair that these depicted angels always had. Unfortunately, our haircuts were short, as was the norm, yet hidden with the head coverings. Asket says, "So, you look quite good. But now listen to me very closely, because I still have several very important explanations to give to you two now which you must keep to yourselves. So, and now we will go back into the time of Jmmanuel." The end.